This episode is sponsored by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro for free at RamseySolutions.com/invest. You're listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires, where we talk investing, retirement, building wealth, and outrageous generosity.
All right, let's go to Kansas City, Missouri, and talk to Justin. What's going on, Justin?
What's going on? Thanks for taking my call.
You're very welcome.
I had a few questions about, so I'm in a market for a house I never owned. I'm 45 years old, so I'm anxious to own. I'm sick of dealing with apartment complexes. I make $52,000 a year, but I have student loans, $20,000 in debt with that. That's my only debt. I own my car, no credit card debt.
Very good.
I bring in about $1,450 a month, so $2,900. That's after the pension. I work for the city, so the pension, and then I do another little retirement, a 401b. And then, insurance. So that's what I take home, about $1,450 a check, $2,900 a month. So the issue is here, Kansas City's like becoming like Nashville. Everything is just shooting up. And people are telling me you need to buy now. You're going to miss the boat. And then I have people telling me the market is, which I do believe Kansas City should not be the price that it is. I'm sorry. It's a great city, but it's not on the coast. It's not Chicago.
Sure. But it is the reality. I mean, the reality is it is more expensive to buy a home right now. I mean, the struggle is real and it kind of sucks, but that is the reality and we have to accept that. What I will say, though, is the time to buy a house is not when other people tell you. It's not when the market is just right. The time to buy a house is when you can afford to buy a house. And so let's look at it through that framework and let's kind of walk through these numbers here. So you've explained that each month you're taking home $2,900. Now this 401b, is that voluntary or you're able to get out of that?
That's voluntary, yes, because we have a pension where I am. So that's supposed to be like an add-on to our pension when we retire. Yeah.
How much a month goes to that?
I pay a month, $100 a month, $50 a check.
Okay. So what I would do, the way that we teach it here through the framework of the baby steps, is I would suggest that you pay off your student loans and get completely debt-free first before you do any type of home purchase. And then after that, I want you to save up for a really good down payment. So do you have any money saved yet?
I only have about $3,000 saved, but I do want to add, I didn't tell you this, I am a veteran, and I was going through the veterans. They have pre-approved me for way over than I could even afford, but they said you don't really need, they just want earnest money, and they said maybe the closing cost, you know, but
here's the problem with the VA loans. I love that we're like, let's help the veterans. But then the way we help them is by letting them get into a house while they're broke with no equity.
Right.
And it ends up hurting them long term because they become house poor. They can't afford other financial goals. And so the VA loan can be an okay deal if the funding fee is waived based on your disability rating. But I still would want you to have a good down payment. And you're probably still better off going with a conventional fixed rate loan.
I agree. And also, I'm new. I just got into my job post-COVID, and there is the next step up for me would be $90,000. Now that could be, I could get that at Christmas time, or I could get it in 7 years, or I may never get it. So I don't want to base it off that. I don't know when I'm going to
base it. You want to base it off. I mean, obviously, yes, your income is going to continue to go up, but here and now, we want to base our home payment off of our current income. It would be one thing if you're like, hey, next month I'm starting a new job and I'll be making $90,000. That's a little different. But right now, since you don't know when that's going to happen, we're looking for something where the payment's no more than 25% of your take-home pay. So you can run those numbers back. And as a matter of fact, we've got a great calculator at RamseySolutions.com. How much home can I afford? And you can type that in and use that calculator, and it's going to help you see, okay, here's what I need to save. Like, this is the amount of the purchase. And then you can run that back and say, okay, how much do I need to save to put a good down payment? It would be amazing if you could put 20% down, and then you could avoid some of the fees that are associated with it. But get as close to 20% as you can.
I agree. And, because you don't want to be trapped. Like my rent is only $900. I know it will go up.
That's
but
right.
I'm looking at mortgages, $1,600. And you're right. I would be house broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's not going to be a blessing. I know people are telling you, get a house. You'll never be able to get a house. They don't pay your bills, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay
Right.
the bills.
Mm-hmm.
And when you barely can put food on the
Absolutely.
table and cover insurance and cover no other goals, and then one emergency hits and you got no money
Yeah.
while having student loan debt, you're going to be calling us back saying, I got into a house before I should have. What do I do? And I don't want to see you there,
Right.
especially veterans. I've got
Okay.
such a heart for veterans. Thank you for your service and sacrifice.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
And I believe that you can do this in a peaceful financial way, but it might be 5 years from now instead of a year from now.
That's right. And it might not be the home that you're envisioning. Like, I don't know what you have in your mind, but you got to remember, like, this thing, George, it's a ladder. And sometimes you start with a condo, and then you go to a townhouse, and then you go to a small single family, and then you, don't think that you necessarily have to start out with that 4-bedroom.
Are you single, Justin?
Pardon?
Are you single?
I'm divorced. Yep.
Okay.
I'm divorced.
So
Yep.
it's just
Single,
you.
yeah.
We don't need to go get a 4-bedroom in Kansas City just to have
No.
some different rooms. I don't see many rooms in my house. I'm in the kitchen, I'm in the living room, and I'm sleeping.
I know that's
That's
right.
it.
I'm still wondering why I have a dining room. I don't know why that happened. But
So,
you see the point,
yeah.
Justin.
Reset your expectations. Get out of the student loan debt. The baby step 1, $1,000 emergency fund. You have that. So you're at baby step 2. And so the key here is let's get our income up and knock out this $20,000 in student loans. Let's get the emergency fund in place, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then let's start tackling the down payment. And you might need to move. We might need to go, hey, I got to get out of Kansas City. It's too expensive.
Right.
That's right.
Right. And the student loan, I could put more down on it, treat it like a car payment, right?
Yes.
I know that
Yes.
it would go down.
Especially if you pause investing. You're doing 17 things at once, and they're all good things, but we've got to have some focus intensity right now. And that is where the baby steps work every time you work them.
Mhm, that's right. We're putting any and all extra money that we can find, scrounge up, dig up, work up. We're putting that on the student loans, and we're going to pay them off with intensity as quickly as possible. That's how this whole thing works. That's how you get out of debt. That's how you pay off your student loans. I don't care who you are, whether you're Justin or somebody listening out there. Pay off your student loans. Do it with intensity.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. To learn more about how to plan for retirement, visit RamseySolutions.com/retire or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/smartvestor.